Hey, what's up everyone? Upstart here with RyXe Gaming, and welcome back to another episode of Satisfactory. Now, in the previous episode, I was starting to explain more or less the progress I've been, doing with my, factories, my platform, all that good stuff. Didn't really progress much with the supposed optimization, whatever, of my coal power plant. I'm just gonna call it that. Um, so I kind of need to progress over here, start getting more things connected, start using more electricity to see how we're gonna if we're gonna do any well, more than likely we will optimizing and reworking of the coal power plant. The other thing was that since I had coupons left over, like I had been getting coupons like on a side kind of thing, it wasn't really a thing I was focusing on. I managed to get 17 coupons just by throwing like pretty much all the excess or the over production or whatever you want to call it. I don't know how it's called, anyways. Sorry about that. Uh, and so I had 17, and I'm like, you know what? I kind of want a vehicle. I want to move faster. I don't think the Blade Runners are up to par. Um, so yeah, I decided to get the factory cart. It's pretty simple. It's not hard. Well, you get the schematic. Um, it's not that hard to make. Four reinforced iron plates, four iron rods. I was gonna say beams, no, iron rods, and two rotors. It takes only zero. It says 0 clicks or zero, like hammers, to make. So I kind of accidentally made two. Doesn't matter. It's not like I was married to those materials that I used up. So it's no big deal. But I do like the cart. The cart's pretty cool. Though I still don't know how fast it is, because with my Blade Runners, let's see, one Mississippi, two Mississippi, three. I don't know if I'm faster with the Blade Runners than with the cart. Maybe I'm faster on the ramp. So what I was explaining about the ramp, because I want to get all the way to the top, is that, well, I have all my resources connected to their respective like conveyor poles, stackable, whatever. And I kind of have this space. This space that I left here. Well, the reason that I did that was mainly so I can just traverse under it. Also, these gaps I left in between as well, like right here, is also to be able to go through it, and be able to, when I need to upgrade or change something, well, it wouldn't be as hard because it's already tough as it is. Because this was huge. Just so you guys can get an idea, this ramp is like 200. The last time I counted, I may have miscounted one or two, odds there. Um, it was 237 ramps of the 8x2s long, from the top to the bottom, more or less. And sets of these, stackable power poles. I keep saying power poles, conveyor poles. Just the one. Just let's say the line, not how many they go vertically, but just the line. Each there's like 50, it's like 40 something, almost 50 points where like it drops. Let's say right there and then right here, that's 2 points, right? Well, it's like 50 more or less from the bottom to the top. That's not including everything, all that spaghetti mess and all the snakes and all that conveyor lines coming down. So I have the electricity going up just on marked ones. It doesn't matter, they're not gonna be connected to anything else. So anyways, another thing about the cart, yeah, as you can see, 40 kilometers an hour, more or less, on the ramp. It doesn't use any gas apparently or any fuel. It's free. I don't know if it's free like just because of the experimental build, or maybe they haven't implemented the fuel for it yet. Uh, it doesn't drift. I'm trying to drift. I don't know. It doesn't. I'm holding the space bar just like with the. No, it's not drifting. Just like with the Explorer. But anyways, maybe I don't know if they'll implement if it's gonna be free or they're gonna add fuel for it at the when it goes into the stable build. But anyways, that doesn't matter as long as we can use it, right? So I'll see you guys at the top. I need to get all the way up there. Alright, so we're here. I want to see if it increases speed when I'm flat ground. Well, not by much. It technically does go faster by 1 kilometer an hour, but it did look slower when it was on the ramp. So that, I guess that 1 kilometer an hour does make a difference. So just one thing to point out, my platform is kind of, I don't know. I don't know if it was, something wrong with the long distance crafting of foundations or whatnot, but supposedly I crafted right on the side of this foundation, and I don't know why I have this gap. I have multiple of these all around where I just got a cut and I started, putting foundations, and for some reason I got gaps like these all over the place. At least, but they're not. They're like, this is considered, like, to me, marginal because it's still straight. It's not like it starts like gets bigger and bigger. It's just like off. So I don't know what's wrong with that because I supposedly started connecting it from like the platform that was on top, like the foundation. Everything is like supposedly flushed together. It's not like I started one side and then I did the other one and I had them meet up. No, I didn't do that. I did it all from one side and more or less, trying to get it all together, and it's all good. Like there's some more right here. So I don't know what went wrong, but things went wrong. But as long as I don't fall through, I don't really care because it's not that off. It's just like by a little bit. So this is what I've got going on here. Everything, like, I have everything from the first resource line or conveyor belt, like from this side over here. If like if it's the way we're facing, then from the left side, I just have that one to the first production line, and then the next one to the next one over to the next production line, and so on and so forth. That's more or less how I have it. Ah, it crashed. Okay, so this first one is the Caterium. So what I have going on here is just since Caterium is since the pure, technically that's all I have up here. Pure nodes, so it's a 120. This one would use 45 per minute if I had it at 100% clock speed, which I decided to bring it down to an 88% because that way I can have three smelters making Caterium ore, or Caterium ingot, I mean. Because if I were to have only two, I would have a 0.6 left over, like of overfeeding or of overproduction kind of thing of the ore, I mean. And so I just decided to underclock it a little bit, and so I can put the third one. It would have been at 40. It would need to be at 40 per minute so I can have the three, but if I go up to the 89%, since this is how it works by percentages, if it goes up to the 89%, it goes to that I'm using 40.05. So yeah, it's kind of like on the 10th decimal. So that sucked. Technically, that, even though it's marginal, very marginal, it's still, I still feel it is considered being underfed, and it's trying to overproduce, even though by a little bit. But the thing that sucks, but at 88%, is that it goes by it's 0.4 from the optimal, which, it's kind of worse than the 0.05. But I'd rather have this than have anything being under the limit that I want it, or over it. I don't know which is the right way to say it, but point is I don't want it consuming using more material than it is getting fed. That's the whole point there. So the idea of these is that, it's coming in, it gets brought over onto one lane, it gets split equally. Since right here it's only split three-way, I only need one splitter, pretty much, right. I can have it so the one right next to it just goes directly into one like this. The reason I did this is because I didn't want things like, I don't have any concrete. Okay, I don't want things like where I have this and it extends out outward like this into the building or the machine, I kind of wanted it looking straight, so that's why I did this right here. Yeah, maybe could have been done better. It could have been, a lot better, designed better. But this is usually the designs I make. I like to try to keep things as compact as possible. I don't like and as straight as possible as well. As you can see, I actually had issues with trying to get things straight. I'm like, oh, it's not straight, and then I just kept dismantling things and just moving things over until I got them straight. And I also wanted to keep it lined up with at least the foundation somewhat. But that kind of involved or included or involved me having to put more of these stackable conveyor posts just like in the middle like this, kind of like extra, but just so I can get it straight. That's kind of the OCD thing that I get. I don't have it I don't get it all the time. It just triggers on like some sometimes, and if I do it once, I have to do it all the time. All of them have to be like properly straightened, whatever. But anyways, so it's just split three-way. So I just have one splitter. One goes to the right, left. One goes straight, and that's what this one is. And then one goes from the right side all the way down. So that's why this one's here as well. It's pretty much the same thing as this, just keeping it straight. I could remove these because the physics whole thing is not something that works, except for like vehicles, which is kind of weird. Only vehicles are affected by the whole physics ramp thingy, the inclines or whatever. But anyways, I could remove these, but then it would be kind of hard when I want to upgrade these to others, and I'm like, oh, it's just one line. No, it's two lines, but you just can't see it because technically it's connected here. It's two separate conveyor lines there. So more or less, yeah, and then just goes down. It's all equal in equal parts. Right now they're all Mark 1 conveyor belts and lifts, so that's kind of the issue because that's where it bottlenecks, because since these Mark 1 belts carry or move only 60 pieces of 60 units or 60 pieces per minute. Technically I have these at 120 or configured in a way where technically they're consuming 120 per minute, but only 60 is being fed, so they're only like half. They're only being fed half. But all these, I've been doing this for a while, so I don't have the bottom container filled because I'm only connected to one. I only put both containers just to have it simulated with the industrial container, which is 48, which is pretty much two of the single ones stacked together. And the way I have it when it comes out, I have it so it would be connected. I only have one of these. I'm not gonna have a huge tower again. I'm gonna have something like a tower, but that's gonna be more on that side over there, or more finished products, more usable products. Or materials. But anyways, here I would just have it with one of these, and then I would have it kind of like a buffer, like similar to what this is called right here in the organization here, the industrial fluid buffer. I'm just gonna call it that, just call it buffer, where it like loads in and then it just transfers pretty much directly over to that. And then if anything, if I'm overproducing or it's full over there and nothing's being done and it's not moving anything anymore, I just get a little bit of stockpile, a little bit of materials there, just kind of stockpiling there. Maybe not a lot, but a little bit, at least something that we can just come and grab instead of having to grab directly from either the machine or the belt. But anyways, and then I would have mergers on this line going that way, and they pretty much just connect directly onto this. If I were to have more production than my conveyor belts can handle, or the usual conveyor belt tier that I use, like 3 or 4, which is 240. I can't remember what the Mark 3s move, how much they move, but it should be like 2 something. And then the Mark 4s are like 380, 480 or something like that. It kind of doubles, or more or less. It increases by like 80% or something. I don't know. So as long as it doesn't exceed that amount, then I would just have it connected to one. If it were over, then I would have to start a new line, maybe off to the side over here, and then just another lift, just taking it over this. The reason I went with this that high is because as you can see, I have a 10 high conveyor per line here coming. So I'm like, I had to figure out a way to get it across, and I'm like, either go under or go over, but not across, because it's just gonna be a mess in the middle, and that's what I didn't want. So even though it's maybe, you know, more travel distance, maybe not as efficient, I kind of just wanted to get things over. So it's 20 of these conveyable pole stackable conveyor poles. It's 20 of these high, and then I just have it like straight on the level of that, and then, you know, whatever it does. So it's kind of halfway of where this whole platform is, like platform to ramp, not like whatever wings have or any extended platform to the sides. It's kind of like in the middle, and then there's the other half. This is where it would come down. Technically this is the other half, and then there's no more ramp at the end of this. There is ramp on this one, so it's kind of like on the edge of where the ramp is. So I have a kind of a big space, just walking around room, you know, so we won't have things too cluttered. Everything is cluttered here, but you kind of want to keep those together, you know, the materials. Why would I want to have the materials that are coming in all over the place? So that's my way of sort of kind of organizing things. But anyways, the next thing would be on this side, I would have, you know, since these are coming down, it would be like the production of more advanced materials, though, or basic, medium, advanced, whatever. Those are just like the ingots, the quartz crystal, because it's just directly from one machine to the other. That one's Caterium. This one here is copper. The next one over here is the quartz. But you know, the quartz to the next thing would be through a constructor. So it's either quartz crystal or it's silica. With the same, I think it's the same ratio. I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember. But I only have one line of quartz. Technically, I wanted to have a second one, but I don't know how I'm gonna work on that one. I do want to bring another one, but I don't know if I'll bring it here or simply put it on the end over here, like as an extra one, because I want another one for silica. So that's another thing I have to work on. But you know, it's the same setup more or less. You know, it splits right here. It's a triple. I call it a triple threat because it's just 3, and similar to the Caterium. Over here is the iron. I only have 2 lines. I have a bunch of smelters down the line though. But I only have 2 lines connected because I was just trying to set things up, just trying to see how things are gonna line up, how things are gonna work, how I'm gonna have to, you know, organize things. But it seems to work. It's just what I plan on doing here is that where the tallest one is at the front, and it just keeps going down each level, you know, like a staircase kind of thing. If I were to add another one onto this, another like conveyor line onto this, I would have to increase this. I would have to jump everything. Like I would have to jump the splitters. I would add another splitter onto there. Was it logistics? I would add another splitter on top and just have it to the level, and then just add one onto each and every other one. So just like add on top of each, like, you know, leapfrogging kind of thing, until it gets back to how it should be. But right now I don't plan on adding more because I need to get to a point where I need to add more. For now it's just going to be that. So this one is where the foundries are, which is the one that's still producing, because I actually do have this one transferring over to that one other production line that I made. Just this, I only made this and put it together more or less how I wanted it, just to, you know, to show it, you know, for show and tell kind of thing, to show it to you all, more or less the idea of how I want things to work. So this is gonna come down. I don't plan it to come down like that. I only did it because I only have one of these. But I do have a plan to have a, what's it called? Like a small tower. It's not exactly small, of containers, like similar to in the previous version, where I had 7, but in this case I would have 5. I would have 5 because I do have to have it in a way where, since it's gonna be like 2 of these, in a way where the one at the bottom is at the top, I mean, is where it goes in, and then, you know, just bring it down, and this is where it goes out. So 5 is the sweet spot, so it can be right across, well, not exactly across, but like from where this is, and then it just like squiggles across and then connects into the other one. But it would be at the level, it won't have to be higher. It doesn't have to go lower. I didn't want to put that many, but I didn't want to bring it down by so many like this. So that's more or less the reason why I did that. I wanted to keep it more or less at the level of this conveyor bridge that I have going on. So what I have here, the storage stack or tower that I'm gonna have here is gonna be like another buffer, similar to that over there. But at least here I have not exactly a finished product, but I have not something that's not iron or something that's not ore. I mean, so that's like another buffer there. So right now it's kind of compact. When I started connecting everything, I'm like, this is gonna be a little bit too compact. I'm gonna have to make some more room for it, whatever. So the point is, it would sort of still come all the way down, so it would still come out more or less on this level. And then I have it split 50-50 for the two items that are produced with steel ingots. So I have steel pipes and I have steel beams over there. Steel pipes require 30 each, 30 per minute. So if I were to go half of my production that I have over there, since I have 6 producing, how is it 30 per, no, 6, like 40 per minute, whatever. Well, the point is that it's 40, that's 120 and 120, so it's 240 total. So all I did was split it 50-50. I have it, this right here splits it 2 ways, so that's 50-50. 50% goes that way, 50% goes this way. But then here I have 4 because of 120. These use 30, so that I can split it 4 way. So I have 1 in there, which that's the whole compacting thing that I didn't like. There's actually a belt in there that you have to actually. It doesn't just connect automatically with the other one. There's a belt in there, so that's moving it to this one, and then this one splits. It goes to my usual splitting setup where it splits 4 ways. So that one splits it 50-50 that way. So technically it's already 25% diluted kind of thing. So 25 goes that way, 25 goes this way. Of that 50% that was coming onto this side. And then here is that it's 12.5%, and then the other 12.5 goes there, and then 12.5, 12.5. Right now that would be like to have it at the exact, like working at 100%. Hopefully it works properly and it doesn't like slow down and stop like that. Like, oh, it's missing 1, so you're gonna have to stop and wait until the other one comes in, and then it takes like 5-10 seconds just to reactivate. That I hate that, but hopefully it doesn't do that. If it does, then I'll just have to figure out with overclocking on the miners, and then overclocking on my production line on that side. But anyways, yeah, more or less that's the idea of what's going on there. So it would go out, it would come across this way, but that's where it will stop at the end of its production line. And then on this side, this would technically be the output lane, and the other side is the input lane. So what I have here, it's going down, it splits there, and here is where it continues down. And then technically, since I don't have enough room here, I had to actually go a level higher, because I know it'd be too close to that. And that's one of the other issues I had with this, is that I kept it in too close. So I'm gonna have to extend it. And look, I have so much room. I have the whole world, the sky here to work with, and I'm kind of just keeping everything just compact. I kind of would like to have things compacted like that. That way, it's not like I don't have to travel huge distances. Because here's the other thing. Here's similar setup. These use 60 per minute, so that's 60. 120 divided by 60, well, it's 2, so I can only have 2 of these working on steel beams, doing its thing. And this is the end of the production line, or of the the output. So it goes up onto a conveyor line, and it starts going down. The other one joins in, but on a higher level, because it's either lower or it's higher. More than likely you'll have to go higher, because then if you just keep going down, and if you have way more than the level that you started at, well, you're gonna have a problem. So going up is the way to go on that. So then at the end of the production line, it won't exactly be just two squares, you know, two foundations away like this. This is just to get an idea. You'd have a storage, I'm gonna have it like a warehouse area. Um, the buffer thing that I'm gonna have here is gonna be similar, but it's not exactly because I'm only gonna have one, not like multiples. And at the end over here, I'm gonna have multiple of each end product, or each end resource, or each end material, whatever you want to call it. And that's where it's gonna store. That's gonna be its storage space. I don't know if it's gonna go higher, or how high it's gonna go, but it most likely will not be just one container. It more than likely will probably be a whole tower of containers. I'm gonna try not to go as high as 7 as I was doing before. I'm probably gonna try to go maybe 3 or 5 because it has to be in that kind of I forget what it's called. Um, you know, even, odds, whatever. It's either on the first one because that's where it goes in. It can't be on the second one because that one turns that way, and that's an output, not an input. It could be on the third one, that would be an input, but it can't be on the fourth one because that would be an output this way. And so it would be, like I said, it's either the first one, the third one, or the fifth one. And I definitely don't want to do the first one because that's just going to be a little bit of, just 48 slots. That's going to be too little resources. So I would probably go 5 high, maybe, similar to the thing that I'm going to do over there. A buffer over there with the ingots. And then from here, from wherever this would go, right now we're at the edge of the world. There's the pink forest over there. Right now we have too much fog, so you know what? Let's do this. I think it's Control-Shift-L to activate the console command, and then we hit the. I think there's a button. I can't remember which one exactly. For me, it's the tilde, right next to the 1 over here on top of tab under the escape, and I hit that. Hit it again to make it bigger. I think it's R.fog, and then you have to choose either true or false, which is true is 1 and false is 0. So I'm gonna do that to just deactivate the fog, because up here where we are, we're pretty much above the clouds, but not exactly, because the clouds are still above us. We're only above the fog. So this way we can see the whole map, or at least most of it. We can see a lot, just like low poly, or yeah, kind of low poly terrain from up here. You have to get closer to get the better terrain. There's the manta over there. There's actually another animal that I discovered somewhere. I didn't really look at it. It looked like a fish though. It was over by the somewhere on a lake. Why am I slow? I hit the shift. Oh yeah. Somewhere in the rocky desert, close to where I was, there's like a pond or something, and there's something swimming in circles around the whole thing, inside, right? On the inside of the whole thing, going in circles. I never really checked it. I might check on it this time around just so you can see what it's like or what it's about. But anyways, that was a manta that was flying by, but it does go out of get out of range, out of my view distance. I have it on ultra, but that's kind of the best it can do from here. So it kind of goes around the whole grassland area, which should be supposedly the grassland area is like over there. Where's my map? Yeah, the grassland area is supposed to be this, but I thought it only like stayed in that area. It seems to come out further now, like in the middle of the forest area too. But anyways, that's not important. So after this would be like a whole warehouse line kind of thing. It would just be one container for each material, but I'm gonna have more production lines going down that way. So I'm gonna have more containers next to this, maybe not on this level, maybe further down, but they're all gonna be like on the same line. And then from there is where I'd start over the whole process of making another production line similar to this. It probably won't be as high as that anymore because it doesn't need to go over our bridge ramp area, walkway, crossway, road, highway, whatever you want to call it. So I probably won't be as high as that, but it would be probably similar to our previous setup, where the last one would just lift up a little bit and then just go up like four stacks of conveyor pole, and then just go down the line, and then go to wherever it needs to go, and then just split it the same way I split this. Let's say I'm producing this much of this. 15 of this. So I'm only producing 30, so I cannot. You go. Oh, and that's without overclocking, of course. Right here, we're not working with overclock yet. So it'd be 30 of steel beams. So if I were to make something else, like let me see if I have if I can make an assembler just real quick. Production. I don't have the cables for it. So if I were to have the cables for an assembler and were to look in there, like things that would need the pipes or the steel beams, let's say steel beams. The actual, I think it's the versatile framework for the space elevator part. I think that requires steel beams. That said something about 12 steel beams each. So if that requires 12 each, we'll have to see how fast it makes it, or how much it consumes to make it per minute, and then adjust accordingly. So that would be kind of an issue as well, that we bump into not too far down the line of the production line. But it's how things go. If that happens, well, you overclock, and then if you can't overclock anymore, but you have to overclock from the beginning. You overclock everything from the back, and then you go from the front, and then you go from the front, from the beginning of the production line to the end. So you would be like, you would first start overclocking the miner, then you'd overclock the smelter or the foundry or whatever it is that's producing your secondary material from the raw material, and then you'd overclock the next thing, which would be the production line for either the basic material, the medium material, the advanced material, whatever it is. And then, but you also got to make sure that your conveyor belts are up to par as well with the speed. So if your conveyor belt is a Mark IV, let's say, and it's only taking or transferring or moving 480, I think it was 480 units per minute, then you can't exceed that. You definitely cannot exceed that. So that means if it exceeds that, then you have to start clocking down, or start underclocking or clocking down on all your previous machines. That's kind of what this is, and this is what we're pretty much gonna have to do. So right now, like I said, I only set up this production line here for show and tell, but also because I want to get the Mark III stuff, and that's why I have my current milestone up in that right hand corner. Because that's what at the level we're at this tier. So I'm like, you know what? That's the most important one. I kind of sort of have a lot of materials of the basic ones still left over by my hub over down there on the ground, in the desert down over there. And I just need to ferry all those things back, and I don't exactly need to have another production line set up for the most basic things, which are the iron rods, the iron plates, screws, stuff like that, wires, cables, all that good stuff. And well, I want this so I can get that logistics Mark III, so I can start converting all my Mark I conveyor belts and lifts and all that into Mark IIIs, because as you all know, I like to jump Mark IIs, because Mark IIs suck, because it's so hard to make Mark IIs, because it's something you gotta assemble. It's in an assembler, not in a constructor. And here as constructors, you just make the steel beams and boom. But you have to go through the foundry and all that good stuff too. But once you get that done, then it's no problem. But you have to set up a bunch for reinforced iron plates, and you have to get whatever you need. Like in this here, I just know I used an uncountable amount, more than that I wish to count, of inventories full of iron plates just to do this. Imagine doing that with reinforced iron plates. I think I'd rather do it with steel beams rather than that. But anyways, I pretty much just rambled on all about my factory up here. How I set it up, how I'm getting things to work. It's nighttime. Hopefully it's not too dark, because in this game, some games are super dark at night. This one isn't that bad because it has a moon that still lights up the sky. So yeah, that's pretty much it for now. In the next episode, I'm thinking I'm probably gonna have to already have production lines for every single basic item at the very least here, like the plates, the iron rods, wires, cables, screws, all that stuff. And then maybe I'll probably set up the one for the black powder as well over there, because I already have the coal and the sulfur at the end of the platform over here. I just gotta drag it all down Just gotta drag it all down and continue with the next area. Uh, it looks like I'm using a lot of space. Technically, I am, but I feel like I'm like barely halfway through the use of the space I have up here on my platform. You know, this way, this long way, instead of the sideways. But sideways, we could go wherever, as far as almost as far as we want. Like we're at the edge somewhere, but you know we can still go over the water a little bit, so we don't have that much of an issue with space. Space is not an issue, but distance is walking distance. So I gotta go back to my cart. But anyways, that's all for now. Thank you all for watching. Please subscribe if you want to see more. Hit that like button if you liked the episode, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.